What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. We here at tuned in to Lil Jake. Don't go nowhere because we got all the best content coming up right here next on Lil Jake YouTube. Let's get it. So today, you guys, we're tuned into another video. I got my screen back better now. I got lighting now. Y'all can see me a little better. But today, that's not what it's about. I'm going to move this to the side so I can read it. As Israel, Hamas ceasefire holds, family of Gaza hostages hold their breath. So I want to check this out because there's a ceasefire right now. In the Gaza, Hamas and Israel war. So we're going to check this out today. See what this is about. Let me actually try something real quick, you guys, because my phone is my lighting and I can't really see myself, or I can't really see the screen. So we're gonna move this down. Like that. And hold that. Let y'all see us. There you go. I think you can see me, y'all. I really want to move it some more, but we'll just stick with it because we're going to be looking in the middle of the screen anyway. I think we need to move it though because it's kind of in my eyes. Hold up, you guys. Alright, here we go.
To react to news of the ceasefire deal with cautious optimism. Scripps News national correspondent Alex Miller is live in New York City with the latest on this. She has been in touch with multiple hostage families. So, Alex, what do we know about how these releases are going to take place?
Well, Steph, all 20 living hostages are supposed to be released along with the dead hostages, which we can talk about a little bit later. That might be more difficult, but they have to be released by Monday at noon local time. This deal went into effect today at noon local time, about 9 hours ago. And we know that the hostages will likely be brought to Kerem Shalom, which is the crossing, and then they'll be taken to various hospitals, which we've been in contact with them as well. These hospitals are preparing to receive them not only medically but psychologically as well. I spoke with one hostage's family member.
So does that mean the hostages are back home? Is everything back to normal? Is that what I'm wondering? That because they say fire holds, families of Gaza hostages hold their breath. So I guess they're being released.
His cousin, I'm talking about Eviatar David. He is the hostage that we saw a couple of months ago digging his own grave, incredibly malnourished. The video of him was really shocking. And I talked to his cousin about that video, what that felt like, but also what his family is told to expect about this. They're just essentially waiting for a text message to tell them to go to the hospital. Listen.
How are you feeling? What was your reaction to hearing this news?
A sign of relief. Finally, we've heard what we have been praying to hear for such a long time, that the deal is being signed, that is part of the deal. But we're still really anxious until the moment that Eviatar will be hugged by his parents. This part of our journey will not end.
I can sense the anxiety that I still feel like you guys really have. I mean, how scared are you about the fragility of this deal?
In the end, it's a deal with a tail organization, so you can never know what they're trying to do. We are scared that when he'll be on his way to the Red Cross, and before they will cross the border, Gazans will again try and reach the hostages like they did in the last deals. We are scared that
he said that they're still anxious because the hostages from last time when they were being released, there was another ambush, my bad, or ambush that happened where they tried to take the hostages back over. So he's scared that something might happen where it's not over, and something still is lingering in the air between the two, Hamas and Israel.
They might fed him too much too quickly after starving him, which can hurt him again. It's something that will not end until he'll be here, because we don't know how he's going to be treated until that moment. So yeah, we're anxious. It's the fear and the hope together which just put you on the edge.
What was that like, seeing A, that he was alive, but B, him in that condition?
You speak about it and I have like goosebumps and like chills going down my spine. It was torturous. He looked like a live skeleton. He seemed broken in those moments.
He looks like he ain't ate in 2.5 to 3 millenniums. Real shit. Bro looked like, damn. That was a lot of... That's a whole lot of no food, like... For real.
When you see him, his voice barely sounds like
starvation.
Himself. Like he doesn't even sound like Avatar's voice.
How have you guys been told to prepare for his health? We
don't really know the conditions, his physical and mental conditions. We have got some advices based on other hostages who came back and based on social workers and psychologists who just they made a document and they sent out points. These are the kind of things that you can assume is going to happen to make sure you're not too shocked about the way they will react to us. I remember one of the sentences said, everybody's imagining a really warm and hot first meeting, but you can never know how's the first meeting going to be, being treated so badly and so inhuman-like for such a long time.
Are you nervous?
He just said he was anxious.
I don't know. I can't really think about the meeting for a long time because it puts me in a bad place. So every time I try to think about Avatar hugging his family, his mom, his dad, his siblings, and the next moment is, okay, I need to know that he's not here yet, so I can't start to fantasize about that moment.
Wow, you won't even let yourself go there yet?
No, not more than like 3 or 4 seconds.
You're about to head into Shabbat. It's been 2 years of Shabbats without him.
Yeah.
It should be the last one without him home. What are your hopes? What is the feeling going into this, this weekend, this Shabbat?
It's emotional and a bit weird weekend, and it's going to be weird. Like life changed on October 7th, and life is going to change a bit in a few days again. But this is what we played and walked and did whatever we can for such a long time that
the new normal.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have been working tirelessly and painfully for 2 years, and hopefully we are coming to the end of it. Is there meaning to take away?
A bit weird weekend, and it's going to be weird. Like life changed on October 7th.
Hopefully.
So he's saying it's gonna be weird going back to daily life because they've been hostages for so long and been fed nothing good and all that. So imagine what he probably got home, or he probably gonna get home wherever whatever the situation. They're gonna eat a big ass steak, big ass burger, some fish with lobster. Like, he's gonna eat it all, bro, because he's been hostage for so long.
We are coming to the end of it. Is there meaning to take away from any of this?
I think the biggest thing that I will take from it is to understand how much supporting your family and your friends is a really, really big thing in your life. It's more important than you can ever imagine. Being there for other people so they could be there for you at time of need it's a much larger thing than I ever thought it was. And this concept of not losing up hope, even when it's hard, when it takes a long time.
Steph, they're really just in a wait-and-see mode. We don't know if the 20 living hostages will come out all at once together, the deadline Monday at noon, or if they will start to bring them out in groups. Remember, they're likely scattered all over Gaza, and there's still two.
I wonder what made the flip, y'all. Like, what made Hamas say we're just going to ceasefire? What made Israel say they're going to ceasefire? What is it that's going to end this, y'all? Is it even a ceasefire? Is this real news? Like, what is going on, y'all? Like, can y'all let me know a little bit more down below if y'all know anything about this? Tell me what's going on so I can have an update on it. That's what I do these videos for. Put them out there for the world so that they can see my thoughts on these videos, like comments. But instead of a comment, I'm making a video, a big video. And that's how I make my comments on videos, which would be this video. And then, so just let me know down below what I should say. I mean, what's going on between this ceasefire that I don't know about.
That are not accounted for. One that we have not heard from since October 7th, and another one, a Nepalese hostage that had just gotten to Israel 3 weeks before October 7th to study farming on a kibbutz to learn about lemon and orange orchards. He has been held hostage there since October 7th as well, but there was no sign of life until a couple of days ago. They got a video of him, a hostage video of him, but the hard part is that it was taken shortly after October 7th, and so they do not know his status. He is not on the list of those 20 living hostages to be released. His family putting out a statement just a couple of hours ago saying that they remain in this unbearable state of uncertainty regarding his fate, and they call these tense and complex days for them, and that they are...
Hopefully they didn't kill him, bro, because if they're just releasing some hostages but not all, like, that's not gonna help anything.
Asking people for their prayers while they wait to hear the news of where he is.
Oh, Alex, I honestly cannot imagine the mix of emotions that all of those families have got to be going through over these next couple days. So we know Hamas has already said they're having trouble locating the bodies of some of the deceased hostages, but as you noted, the deal to turn everyone over is Monday noon local time. So what is being done to make sure that every hostage is included in this handover on Monday?
Well, it's somewhat of a race against the clock. I mean, if you think about some of these families, they have been all over the world for 2 years advocating for their loved ones, some just to get their bodies back to have a burial. And as Hirsch's mom said to me yesterday, some might not even have a grave to cry over. And so there's immense pressure to get them back. Hamas saying that they don't know where everyone is, but there's questions about their honesty because we've seen in the past.
That means the bodies are too damaged to send back, or they just threw him off a cliff or something and don't know where he's at. But or something weird like that. But anyway,
them saying certain hostages were dead when they were really alive, saying that they couldn't find the Bibas's family and handing over the wrong bodies when in fact they turned them over very shortly after that was discovered. And so there is almost a trust but verify system in place now. Many countries, including Turkey, Qatar, Egypt, the United States, and Israel, sending over a group to try to help locate those bodies, to figure out whether it's just that they were really in the rubble there, and because of the devastation they haven't been able to find them, or if it's something more nefarious. There also is one soldier who was kidnapped and killed by Hamas in 2014. His mom has been fighting for 11 years to bring him home, and he is supposed to be part of this deal. Listen to her warning.
Do not let Hamas play you, lie to you, and make a mockery of you. We will not allow it. Do not agree to give them anything until they return all the hostages, the fallen just as the livings. We are certain that you, Israel, and additional countries around the world have extensive intelligence on the hostages' whereabouts. If the world falls into Hamas' trap of lies and effectively lets Hamas run the search for and return of the hostages, it will not happen.
I mean, Steph, this is why
it will not happen. The search for and return of the hostages. If the world falls into Hamas' trap of lies and effectively lets Hamas run the search for and return of the hostages, it will not happen.
Oh, right.
I mean, Steph, this is why Aviatar's...
She's saying if we let Hamas do the searching for us, it's not going to happen. They're not going to do it. Because they probably don't even want to get the hostages back. This is a ongoing war that's been going on since your granddaddy was here. Like, they've been fighting forever. So this is families on families that have been lost. My dad, or not my dad, but well, some people have had dads that have been lost in the war, but other people maybe have cousins or aunts, moms, and other family that have been lost in the war. So and this is over generational stuff. So this is something we don't know if it'll ever end, but the ceasefire is a good look.
Cousin Matan is so concerned about the fragility of this deal because anything could change between...
Fragility. They're worried about the fragility. If this ain't a word, man, I think you just made a word up. What does fragility mean? Somebody let me know down below.
Now and Monday at noon Israel's time, and one hostage that they can't find could set off the deal. Any little thing could really make an impact, and we know Israel has begun retreating to the lines that they promised that they would, but again, it is a really, really fragile and very emotional situation for all of these families involved.
Scripps News national correspondent Alex Miller, thank you so much for your reporting on this important, emotional, powerful story. Thank you very much, live from New York for us this afternoon.
Alright, you guys, so that's what's going on. There's a ceasefire right now. Another video I want to check out is this right here. And that was the first-hand look at one of the hostages.
The ceasefire agreement with Hamas in
moms. Sorry, that was a first-hand look at one of the hostages, and one of the hostages' moms. But now we're gonna check out Gaza ceasefire. 200,000 Palestinians head back to shattered homes after 2 years of war. BBC News. So let's see what it looks like on the Gaza end, on the Hamas or not necessarily Hamas, but on the Palestinian end.
The ceasefire agreement with Hamas in Gaza is now around 12 hours old. The partial withdrawal of Israeli forces from the territory triggered a mass return of people back to shattered towns and villages. But the Israeli Defense Forces still remain in control of at least half of Gaza. Nevertheless, in a matter of hours, as many as 200,000 Palestinians made the long journey back home on foot after being displaced.
Maybe the Palestinians are like, well, we got half of Gaza back. That's good enough, you know. Like, we at least got half our land back, if that is their land. I don't know how the stuff goes, bro.
Placed by the fighting. Now, though, the bombing has stopped. Well, the ceasefire came into effect today once it had been approved by the Israeli government. Under the deal, Israel pulled back its troops to agreed positions in Gaza, marked here, as you can see, by the yellow line. However, the IDF says it will continue to remove any immediate threat. Now, with the withdrawal triggered a 72
So they're withdrawing, but they're like, we'll still go back to war if we got to.
hour countdown to midday on Monday, by which time Hamas must release the remaining 20 living Israeli hostages and return the remains of 28 who are dead. For its part, Israel must release 250 Palestinians from jail, as well as 1,700 people detained in Gaza during the war. Remember, all this is part of phase 1 of the agreement.
Israel locks them up. Hamas takes them hostage. That's crazy. There's so many families that are hurt off of this.
Deal on phase 2, the rebuilding and future governance of Gaza, still needs to be hammered out, with much of the detail sketchy and far from settled. Israel does not allow international journalists into Gaza. We're not allowed to see for ourselves what's going on. So Jeremy Bowen has the very latest from Jerusalem.
It must be a terrible journey, up to 20 miles on foot for thousands of Gaza's Palestinians, deprived by Israel's blockades of adequate food and clean water. A ride north in a car to Gaza City costs around £900. Impossible money for people who've lost everything. Earlier this morning, before Israel's military, the IDF, had pulled back, its tanks opened fire to warn the people not to move further along the road until the ceasefire. Crowd control using shells. On social media, the IDF told them to stay on the coast road and warned that going near Israeli troops would endanger their lives.
Damn.
They're returning to a world of rubble.
See, Palestinians got to go back to the broken up homes. They weren't even part of the war, probably. They just was regular people trying to live their lives. Now they got to go back to these homes that are all blown up, destroyed. It ain't good going on. Nothing good is going on right now in Israel or Gaza or Hamas. Nothing good right now. It's all just negativity, bro. I'm not gonna say there's no positivity from them, but there's just the situations going on need to stop. Like, it's just constant. When does it end? When does the fighting, when does the war end?
In Gaza City, Fida Haraz wanted to find something, maybe a mattress, she said, as winter is coming. But she couldn't even find the ruins of her home, as there is so much destruction.
I knew it was levelled, but where is it? I can't find it. What do we do with our lives? Where will we live? It was a multi-storey building, but it's all gone.
It's clear that this last offensive by Israel into Gaza City flattened civilian homes on a massive scale. If that is without a military purpose, it amounts to a war crime. The IDF had pulled back to the agreed new line by around midday. It still leaves Israel occupying more than Gaza City flattened civilian homes on a massive scale. If that is without a military purpose, it amounts to a war crime. The IDF had pulled back to the agreed new line by around midday.
I don't get what he's saying there.
By Israel into Gaza City flattened civilian homes on a massive scale. If that is
It was a multi-storey building, but it's all gone.
It's clear that this last offensive by Israel into Gaza City flattened civilian homes on a massive scale. If that is without a military purpose, it amounts to a war crime. The IDF had pulled back to the agreed.
Oh, okay. So if it's not from, if they're not at war and they just do this, it's a war crime against, which a war crime, if y'all don't know what a war crime is, it's like a crime against all like parties, basically. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, an action carried out during the conduct of a war that violates accepted international rules of war. So it violates accepted international rules of war, which international means all parties of the UK, the America, basically all parties. Make sure I said that right too. Carried out between two or more nations. So never mind. It's a existing, occurring, or carried out between two or more nations. Basically what I said, but whoever the nations that's involved. See how long this video is. All right.
New line by around midday. It still leaves Israel occupying more than half of the Gaza Strip. Clause 4 of the ceasefire agreement says that the IDF will not return to areas they've withdrawn from as long as Hamas line by around midday. It still leaves Israel occupying more than half of the Gaza Strip. Clause 4 of the ceasefire agreement says that the IDF will not return to areas they've withdrawn from as long as Hamas fully implements its side of the bargain. Is that Benjamin Netanyahu's decision? Donald Trump's? It's not clear.
Potentially there are some big problems ahead in the implementation of the Trump 20-point peace plan, which is light on detail. Now, for example, it says that weapons must be placed permanently beyond use through an agreed process of decommissioning. There is no agreed process. Hamas wants to keep.
Sorry, I'm
Potentially there are some big problems ahead in the implementation of the Trump 20-point peace plan, which is light on detail. Now, for example, it says that weapons must be placed permanently beyond use through an agreed process of decommissioning. There is no agreed process. Hamas wants to keep some weapons. Israel says they must all go.
Armed men from Hamas internal security,
So Trump wants to implement a peace plan saying that the firearms of Hamas
Peace plan, which is light on detail. Now, for example, it says that weapons must be placed permanently beyond use through an agreed process of decommissioning.
Okay.
There is no agreed process. Hamas wants to keep.
Well, there has to be an agreed process. If that's the case, if that's how he's going to do it between Israel and Hamas, he really can't say much. Well, I guess this is him saying this before I'm going to go into war type shit. Like, he's like, either we're going to do it this way or I'm going to war. Which I don't know if that's what he's trying to say, but that's what it seems like he's trying to say. So let's let's continue here.
Some weapons. Israel says they must all go.
Armed men from Hamas Internal Security, the unit most feared by Palestinians, have emerged in Gaza City. Hamas wants to show it's not beaten. This is not what Israel wants to see.
We are encircling Hamas from all directions ahead of the next stages of the
Israel wants them to completely stand down so that they can stand down. That's basically what Israel wants.
plan, in which Hamas will be disarmed and Gaza will be demilitarized. If this is achieved the easy way, all the better, and if not, it will be achieved the hard way.
Whoa.
He said his strategy is bringing the hostages home and called it a tremendous achievement in the war of redemption. Israel has told the UN it can bring in much more humanitarian aid from next week. This was a commercial shipment heading north through Gaza City. But the UN has its own lorries waiting to bring in 172,000 tons of supplies stockpiled just outside Gaza. More than 2 million people need food, clean water, shelter and medical care. And 700,000 children who've had little or no education for 2 years need temporary classrooms. At last there is a chance, as long as the ceasefire holds. Jeremy Bowen, BBC News, Jerusalem.
So they're going to try and rebuild as long as the ceasefire holds. As long as the ceasefire holds, they're going to try and rebuild everything. Everybody's going to go back to normal. It's going to go back to being peaceful. That's a good thing. That's a good thing to hear.
More from Jeremy a little later, but as we've been hearing, thousands of Gazans are now returning home. But what will they find when they get there? A warning, Lucy Williamson's report does contain some distressing images.
No one looked at the rubble around them. Even with the buildings gone, their feet knew the way home. The centre of Khan Yunis reopened to residents today after Israel withdrew its forces. A quiet procession that went on and on.
The situation is tragic. There are no houses, there are no streets, there is nothing. There is no life.
That's so sad.
In Gaza City too, people will return.
They got this vibrant city and there's no life, no buildings, no structure. There's nothing. That is so sad, bro. Imagine going back to that. Just imagine, put yourself in their footsteps, bro. Imagine going back to something like this. And that's what you called home. And it was home. But now it's not nothing like home was.
Mohammed found the path to his old front door in Sheikh Radwan, despite the path and the door having gone. Sandwiched in the wreckage, a time capsule from his old life. A jacket, perfectly preserved in a suitcase. A familiar shirt.
The first moment I saw the house was very difficult. It brought back memories of my late father, my late mother, my siblings and my childhood. I honestly wish I never had to experience this moment. It was indescribable, as if I was dreaming.
Mohammed Zaghot walked home from Deir Bala, a 5-hour trek. Hoping to find shelter for his family, including his injured son. His house identified by scraps of clothing, an old teaching certificate. But the building is now so shattered that even a slight tug to free a shirt threatens to bring it down.
When I first got here, I honestly didn't recognize it. If it weren't for the neighbors who told me where it was, I wouldn't know. The area's landmarks have changed, like an earthquake hit it. There is no house left.
2 years of war has shattered Gaza's buildings, but rebuilding lives will be just as hard. The Al-Najjar family tent in the west of Khan Yunis is emptier than it was before. Less than a week before the ceasefire, their 11-year-old son, Marman, was killed collecting firewood in the city centre. His mother, Harish, said she doesn't sleep and cries for him constantly.
This isn't a moment of joy. There is no joy at all. I can't believe it was after Mu'min was killed that Hamas agreed to the deal. Anyone whose heart isn't broken can feel joy today, but no joy can enter a broken heart.
Harish buried her son last week in a grave far from home. Their house in eastern Khan Yunis is still inaccessible, beyond the line Israeli troops have withdrawn to in this first
Did they find him?
Stage of the deal. The war may have stopped, but this family is still in limbo, unable to go.
But no joy can enter a broken heart.
Harish buried her son last week in a grave far from home. Their house in eastern Khan Yunis is still inaccessible, beyond the line Israeli troops have withdrawn to in this first stage of the deal. The war may have stopped, but this family is still in limbo, unable to go home, unable to move on. Lucy Williamson, BBC News, Jerusalem.
Well, what about this side of the front line? Since those attacks by Hamas a little more than 2 years ago, the families of those Israelis taken hostage have held a very public memorial here in Tel Aviv, in this plaza opposite the main art museum. We've been speaking throughout the day to some of those families about their relief that a ceasefire deal is now in place and about their hopes of being reunited with kidnapped family and friends.
This place of healing and devotion to the missing has sustained so many during a profound time of grief. Hostage Square, as it's become known, has been a meeting place where hope has been kept alive. That one day all the captives will be freed. For those here, the clock has ticked down, but time has stood still since October the 7th, 2023.
I want it all taken down because it means they're all home.
Naomi Patel Adler survived the Hamas attack, hiding out in a bomb shelter. But some of her friends on the kibbutz were led away. What are your thoughts today? What are you thinking?
Cautiously trying to breathe. I'm cautiously reminding myself that maybe we can go back to being genuinely happy, genuinely calm, that it might actually be over, that these people might be going home to their families, might be coming home and being released to their families, and maybe that I can go back home also.
So this is your father?
Yeah, and that way...
Is that the day he was kidnapped?
Yeah.
Yuli Ben-Ami's father and her mother were captured by Hamas, but later released. There is a measure of survival.
It's gotta be such a peaceful feeling knowing that you're finally able to come out of them bunkers and come to your home. But Gaza, but here's the thing, y'all. Israel gets to go back to a, not everybody, but they get, if they were living in Gaza, they probably got messed up homes, but they get to go back to a peaceful home that's built. But some of them didn't get to make it through the hostage situation, so it's still sad on the Israeli part as well. But what do you guys think about all this that's been going on in these videos so far?
Kidnapped.
Yeah.
Yuli Ben-Ami's father and her mother were captured by Hamas, but later released. There is a measure of survivor's guilt here for those who came through the fire. How have they coped with
So when my mom came back, my father was left behind, and it was very hard for her to recover. And then when my father came back, my mom could breathe more, but she still thought about the person that are still there. Everyone felt guilty in some way. I feel guilty because I survived and there was people that not. So I think everyone has some guilt.
It is a twisted but understandable shame. The promise now is that soon this meeting place will be no more. All the remaining hostages, alive and dead, will be released. The tents and memorials, pictures and sorrow will be gone. Life can begin again.
Jeremy Bowen is live in Jerusalem. Jeremy,
but then they'll be forgotten, y'all, and then hopefully no other war plays out. Hopefully no other war plays out.
Ceasefire, it's underway, but it's still a potentially bumpy road ahead, with the Israelis still having to work out which Palestinian prisoners they want to release.
Well, they've come up with a list, and maybe it's not a final list, we don't quite know.
I'm sorry, bro, but they probably should release all of them. And I know some people died on the Hamas side. On the, well, I guess it might be a list because there's so much things. Like, what if you did a crime in Israel? You feel me? Then, but I guess you should get shipped back to your country, like what happens in this country. So yeah, I say send them all back, bro. Let them all free. And Hamas better do the same thing too, because that's the most respectful thing that they could do as of a ceasefire. Because if y'all gonna start the war, send the people back on both sides completely. Dead and alive.
But the top 6 that Hamas wanted out, who are regarded by the Israelis as terrorist kingpins, they are not being let out. Now, one of them is actually not a Hamas guy, Mr. Barghouti, who is seen by a lot of people actually as a potential future president. He's seen by some as the Palestinian Nelson Mandela. Now, letting those people go, not just those 6 who are staying in jail, but also there are lifers and 1,700 people who've been picked up and held without trial. Now they're all seen as national heroes by the Palestinians, but once all that is done and it's the price Israel's paying for the hostage release, then there's some really difficult negotiation ahead about how to interpret that 20-point Trump document which started this whole process off. And what are the clear things in it actually, which is that Trump envisages a so-called board of peace chaired by him as the supreme supervisory body for the first stage anyway in the Gaza Strip, has been rejected this evening by Hamas. They put out a statement with other Palestinian factions saying that the Gaza should be governed by Palestinians and not by foreigners. So already a big bone of contention potentially there, and there are going to be a lot more. This is not going to be an easy process.
Hopefully it's just talk, bro. Hopefully they could talk it out, figure it out. Hopefully there's no arguments. No bad arguments anyway. Hopefully they could talk it out, and hopefully everything can be smooth sailing with that.
Donald Trump has said that there's a good chance of peace forever. Sadly, I don't think that's the case.
All right, Jeremy, much more from you throughout the weekend. Many thanks. Jeremy Bowen, our international editor there. Well, I've been coming here to Hostage Square on and off for the last 2 years now. The atmosphere...
Sadly, by Palestinians and not by foreigners. So already a big bone of contention potentially there, and there are going to be a lot more. This is not going to be an easy process. Donald Trump has said that there's a good chance of peace forever. Sadly, I don't think that's the case.
Man, it could be.
All right,
bro.
Jeremy, much more from you throughout the weekend. Many thanks. Jeremy Bowen, our international editor there.
It seems like some people just don't want it to be peace. They just want it to be war, bro. Don't it seem like that? Don't it seem like some people just want war? And some people just want peace. And the people that want peace are peaceful people. And the people that want war are aggressive, war-hungry, angry people, bro. So what kind of people are you? And what kind of person are you? You gotta ask yourself that. Look in the mirror and ask yourself what it is you truly desire. And you will get there. Trust me.
Well, I've been coming here to Hostage Square on and off for the last 2 years now. The atmosphere tonight, for those people still milling around, is one of expectation, but also, it has to be said, quiet dread that at the 11th hour something could still go wrong. But none of the people here have been as close to a resolution of the hostage crisis in 2 years of war.
So 2 years they've been fighting, y'all. Good thing to see this finally peace or ceasefire at least. Hopefully they can work out their agreements. Hopefully everything works out good. But yeah, if you haven't already liked the video, y'all, tell me what I'm missing on this ceasefire video that I could include, and what I can do next time to make it better. Y'all leave a comment down below. Till next time, y'all have a good one. Stay safe, be smart, and peace out.